The Story of Fairy. Hay and Max, Fairy. Hay had always felt a little uneasy in the noisy city. The bright lights, the endless stream of cars, and the constant hurry were difficult for her to get used to. To her, the city felt too loud for her delicate wings and far too fast for her gentle, thoughtful mind. She loved quiet places where sounds moved slowly and thoughts had time to breathe. And Max was completely different. He was a boy who almost never stood out. He had very few friends. Not because there was anything strange or wrong about him, but simply because he was quiet by nature. Max didn't like loud voices, he didn't enjoy arguments, and he never knew how to shout louder than others just to be noticed. Yet despite all that, Max had a very kind heart. Max had never believed in magic. To him, miracles belonged only to books or to bedtime stories told to very small children before they closed their eyes and fell asleep. He believed the real world was ordinary, predictable, and often a little too serious. But everything changed on the day he met Fairy Hay and became her friend. At first, he was simply surprised. Then he doubted what he was seeing. And finally, he understood that he had found something rare, a true and genuine friend. From that moment on, Max slowly began to change. He became a little more cheerful, a little more joyful. The world around him started to feel brighter and more interesting, even though he remained just as quiet as before. Fairy. Hay herself was unusual in many ways. Sometimes she could perform real magic, small and gentle wonders that felt almost invisible. Sometimes she forgot how to use her magic at all, and sometimes, no matter how hard she tried, the magic simply didn't work. On those days, she became just an ordinary girl. But even without magic, Fairy Hay remained clever, kind, and deeply attentive to the world around her. That was how their adventures began. Not with fairy castles or fearsome dragons, but in a modern city, with schools, streets, quiet evenings, and soft nights. One evening, they decided they wanted to ride through the sleeping city on a scooter, watching the lights pass by and listening to the city breathe. But Max didn't have a scooter, and then something unusual happened. Not always because of magic, sometimes simply because miracles appear when you are not alone. Somehow, they found that scooter, and in that moment, their night rides began. And with them came new adventures along the road, through the city, and through life itself. In the farthest corner of Max's home, there lay a very, very old scooter. It was covered in dust. Its handlebars were worn smooth with time. Its wheels had not turned for many years. Max rarely thought about it. To him, it no longer felt like a scooter, but simply an old object from the past, something that had been forgotten. But that night, he suddenly remembered it. He wished that the scooter could become something real again, something modern and alive. Not for speed, not for noise, but to give Fairy Hay a gentle ride through the night city, along quiet streets, beneath the glow of streetlights and distant stars. Fairy Hay looked at the scooter carefully, very carefully. She knew that magic does not always work at once. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it works in unexpected ways. But this time she decided to try. She placed her palms on the handlebars, closed her eyes, and softly whispered words she did not fully remember. The magic was gentle, not bright, almost invisible. The scooter did not become new right away. It did not shine. It did not hum loudly. But the wheels turned quietly. The headlight glowed softly, and the air around them grew just a little warmer. Hay smiled. "That's enough," she said, and Max understood. Even a very old scooter can become the beginning of a real adventure. But then Max suddenly realized something. He had never learned how to ride a scooter. That old scooter had been lying there for many years, yet he had never once sat behind the handlebars. Max looked at the handlebars, then at the road, then back at the scooter again. I don't know how," he said quietly. "I've never ridden one." Fairy Hay was not surprised at all. It was as if she had known this all along. She thought for a moment, tilted her head slightly, and smiled. "Then let's do it differently," she said calmly. "You sit behind me, and I'll take you for a ride." Max looked at her in surprise. "You know how?" Hay shrugged gently. "Sometimes magic helps," she said, "and sometimes you just need not to be afraid." Max sat behind her. He held on carefully, very gently, as if he were afraid of disturbing the night itself. Fairy Hay sat in front. Her wings trembled softly but did not open all the way. "Ready?" she asked. Max nodded, and at that moment the scooter began to move, not suddenly, not quickly. It simply rolled forward, slowly, as if it understood on its own that this moment required care. The air grew cooler. Streetlights began to glide past them. The city was not noisy. It was watching. Max felt that he was no longer afraid. He was not riding by himself. He was not alone. And Fairy Hay guided the scooter forward, sometimes with the help of magic, and sometimes simply by feeling the road beneath them. That was how their first night ride began. Quietly, slowly, for real. As they rode the scooter, it felt as if everything around them had become beautiful. Not just pleasant, but beautiful in a way that brought a lightness inside. The air was filled with energy, warm, alive. Max felt it with his whole body. He wasn't thinking at all. He was simply in awe. "It feels so good," he breathed. Fairy Hay didn't answer. Her wings glowed softly as if they felt the same thing, and suddenly something appeared ahead. At first it was only a point, then a shape, then something unfamiliar. It was moving toward them, slowly, but with purpose. The scooter kept moving forward, and the object kept coming closer and closer. Max grew tense. "Do you see that?" he asked. Hay nodded. She saw it too, and in that moment she seemed to connect to something greater. Not with words, not with gestures, simply from within. Hay's wings began to glow brighter, not blinding, but beautiful. And then the scooter stopped touching the road. It lifted, at first just a little, then higher still. They rose into a shimmering sky. The city remained below them. The streetlights looked like stars, and the sky around them felt alive, soft, flowing, as if it had been created just for them. Max held his breath. He wasn't afraid. He felt wonder, the kind that comes only when you realize miracles are real. And that object, it stopped. Then it slowed. Then it seemed to fall behind. It no longer came closer, as if it understood that this place was not for it. The scooter flew calmly, the sky welcomed them, and Fairy Hay guided them forward, unhurried, gentle, and careful. And Max knew he would remember this night forever. When they were already flying high in the shimmering sky, Max finally asked, "Hey, what was that? The thing that was coming toward us?" "Fairy." Hay stayed silent for a long time, too long for an ordinary answer. The scooter flew steadily, the sky shimmered quietly, and the city below had become very small. "It wasn't someone," she said at last, "and it wasn't something." Max frowned. "Then, what was it?" Hay smiled, a little sadly but very calmly. "It was something that always follows those who travel without joy." Max grew thoughtful. "Did it want to stop us?" "No," Hay replied. "It was simply moving, as it always does." She looked ahead to where the sky was especially bright. Sometimes it is loneliness, sometimes fear, sometimes the habit of being unnoticed. And suddenly Max understood. It had always been walking beside him before. "Then why did it fall behind?" he asked quietly. Fairy Hay placed her hand on the handlebars. "Because today you were not alone. Because you were riding not to escape, but to feel." She turned toward him just a little. "Things like that don't know how to fly." Max looked down to where the things remained that had once felt large and heavy, and for the first time he understood. Some mysteries do not need to be solved completely. It is enough to know that they are no longer near. The scooter gently turned in the sky. The night grew even quieter, and the stars seemed to wink. And somewhere there between the sky and the city, a mystery remained, one that everyone understands in their own way. For the first time in his life, Max was seeing real magic, not in a book, not in a dream, but right here, right now. They were flying on a scooter through the sky, slowly, lightly. The ground was far below. The city had become small, very small. From above it looked different, not noisy, not frightening. It looked like scattered lights, tiny, shimmering, like little stars, small sparks of light. Max looked down and felt pure wonder, the kind of feeling that makes you want to laugh and stay silent at the same time. He felt light, very light. He felt joy. Fairy. Hay guided the scooter calmly. Her wings glowed softly, not brightly, just enough to keep the path in the sky visible. Then she leaned forward slightly, and the scooter slowly turned back. They began little by little to return. When Max's house appeared below, he already knew the night was coming to an end. "It's time," Hay said quietly, not sadly, peacefully. They descended very carefully, so gently that no one would notice. The scooter touched the ground almost without a sound. Max knew. If his parents suddenly woke up, if they asked, "Where is Max?" he would already be home, in his bed, under his blanket, with his eyes closed. Hay looked at him and smiled. "Miracles do exist," she whispered. "They just don't always happen during the day." Max didn't answer. He was already falling asleep. When Fairy Hay disappeared, the night became ordinary again, but inside Max a feeling remained, a feeling that the world is bigger than it seems, and that somewhere nearby there is always magic. More bedtime stories are waiting for you. quiet moments, gentle adventures, and peaceful night journeys. A calm, cozy place to relax and feel safe. Subscribe and come back whenever you need a story. Good night.